Gentlemen, in the grand theater of life, we often believe words hold the ultimate power. But language is only the surface, the ripple atop a much deeper ocean. Beneath our spoken words lies an ancient, unconscious code. Body language. The truth is, only a small fraction, perhaps 1%, ever master it. And yet, it governs attraction, influence, leadership, and presence. Today, I will share with you 5 secrets that, once understood, will reshape how you move through the world. These are not tricks. They are reflections of the self, born from awareness, not manipulation. In a world gripped by ceaseless motion and unrelenting distraction, there exists a rare and radiant virtue. A secret not born of noise or assertion, but of silence and sovereign calm. This secret, the power of stillness, belongs not to the frenzied multitude, but to the inwardly anchored man who has wrestled with his inner chaos and emerged with a quiet flame of self-possession. Presence without tension is a kind of spiritual gravity. It is not learned from books or lectures, but remembered in the soul. A deep inheritance buried beneath layers of conditioned frenzy and nervous striving. Observe nature. The lion, sovereign of the wild, does not roar to claim dominion. He does not pace or posture. He lies in still repose, and yet all creatures feel the radius of his presence. His power is not in his noise, but in his being. He has no need to assert because he is aligned. His essence is whole. In contrast, how many men today betray themselves with fidgeting fingers, darting eyes, exaggerated gestures? Their movements cry out what their mouths will not confess. I do not yet believe in my own authority. Their bodies, out of tune with the core of self, stammer out a silent confession of internal fragmentation. Stillness, properly understood, is not the absence of motion, but the presence of rootedness. It is not lifelessness, but life deeply gathered. Imagine a great tree, unmoved by the breeze, unmoved even by the winds of passing storms. Its power is not in resistance, but in its anchored depth, its invisible tangle of roots entwined with the earth. So too is the powerful man, rooted, not in bravado, but in awareness. He is grounded in the quiet certainty of his own being. He has gone inward, faced the shadows of his psyche, reconciled his contradictions, and emerged not with volume, but with vision. This is why, when such a man enters a room, he does not need to announce himself. His presence precedes his voice. The air itself adjusts. Watch someone like Barack Obama. Composed, deliberate, never hurried. His slow entrance is not a strategy, it is a signature. It says, I am not chasing your attention because I already possess my own. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. The world senses it and, often unconsciously, responds to it with deference. True power lies in that which is least performative. The greatest leaders, the most respected figures throughout history, were not those who shouted the loudest, but those who radiated an inner stillness that quieted the room. This stillness is the mark of the initiated, for he who can remain unmoved in the midst of motion, calm in the cyclone, is the one who has met the God within and no longer fears the gods outside. But how is this cultivated in a society that glorifies haste and mistake activity for accomplishment? It begins with a radical slowing down, not of the body alone, but of perception. The next time you walk into a room, dare to reduce your pace by 10%. Feel the contact of your feet with the ground. Let your awareness drop from your thoughts to your spine. Before you speak, meet the eyes of others, not with challenge, but with the deep curiosity of presence. Speak less, observe more. In time, you will notice something remarkable. The world starts to mirror you. This mirroring is not manipulation, it is resonance. Just as a still pond reflects the moon, so do other beings reflect back the stillness they sense in you. Anxiety is contagious, but so is peace. And when your peace becomes stable enough, you find that you influence more by what you withhold than by what you express. You become like the mountain in the storm, unmoved, and thus magnetic. Modern man has been taught that to be seen he must perform, that to be loved he must chase, that to be valuable he must produce. This is a grand illusion, a psychic prison. The truth is more ancient, more primal, and far more liberating. To be deeply and wholly is enough. From this place of being, action arises not from compulsion, but from clarity. Words are fewer but heavier. Gestures are less but more eloquent, and every movement becomes an expression of that centered truth. This is not passivity, it is the opposite. Stillness is what allows right action. For only the man who is not whipped about by his inner storms can act, rather than react. He chooses his moment like a master sculptor choosing his strike, and so his life gains the texture of art. Precise, powerful, intentional. Do not be deceived. This path is not easy. To sit still in a world screaming for movement is an act of rebellion. To listen within when the outer world clamors for your attention is a sacred defiance. But if you persist, if you choose to ground rather than grasp, you will discover that there is no charisma more compelling, no strategy more effective than embodied stillness. Stillness invites others into their own calm. It challenges the frantic not by confrontation, but by contrast. You become a living reminder of something they forgot they longed for. In your groundedness, others feel their own trembling, and in that recognition, they begin to soften, to slow, to breathe again. This is the power of stillness, not as technique, but as transformation. Not as performance, but as presence. Not to impress, but to be. When you stop trying to be important, you become influential. When you stop striving to be seen, your essence begins to shine. And so, as you return to the chaos of your daily world, remember this: you do not need to roar to be heard. You do not need to rush to arrive. Anchor yourself. Slow your step. Breathe into your bones. Let your silence speak louder than your noise. For the man who commands himself does not need to command others. He simply is, and that is more than enough. To truly connect with another human being is not merely a matter of words spoken or thoughts exchanged. It is a sacred alignment of the self, an unveiling of one's innermost essence. The human soul, seeking resonance and communion, does not dwell only in the mind. It reveals itself through the body, through the unspoken language that precedes all words. It is in this ancient and silent dialect that the deepest truths are conveyed. And within this language, the triangle of connection, beauty, the eyes, the hands, and the heart, holds the power to open the gates of intimacy, trust, and transformation. In this modern age, we are conditioned to rely heavily on speech, to overvalue the rational, and to trust the intellect as the supreme guide. Yet the most profound connections in our lives are not born of logic. They arise when something deeper within us is stirred. They emerge when the seen and the unseen parts of us act in harmony, when the body echoes the intentions of the soul. The triangle of connection is not a technique. It is a state of being. It is the embodiment of congruence, when who you are within radiates clearly through what you do without. Consider the eyes. They are often called the windows to the soul, and this is not poetic metaphor but living truth. In a glance, a gaze held just a second longer than expected, entire worlds can be communicated. The eyes do not lie, for they are not trained in deceit. They betray nervousness, hesitation, or disinterest just as easily as they reveal care, desire, or truth. When your eyes meet another's, not with intensity, but with presence, you say to them, "I see you, I am with you." And in that moment, something in the other person exhales. The defensive walls they carry begin to tremble. They feel, perhaps for the first time in a long time, that they are not alone. Now let us consider the hands. Throughout history, the hands have been the instruments of expression, of building, of blessing, of violence, and of healing. What your hands do reveals the deeper landscape of your inner world. Hidden hands, stuffed in pockets, clenched into fists, or held tightly to your side, signal that you are not fully present. They hint at withdrawal, protection, or fear. But open hands, gently gesturing, relaxed and visible, signal honesty. Say, "I have nothing to hide. I come to you unarmed, with sincerity." In ritual, the raising of hands toward the sky has always meant surrender, prayer, invocation. There is a primal power in the openness of the hands. It communicates that you are grounded, but also vulnerable, and in that vulnerability lies immense strength. And then, the heart, the center of being, the source of warmth and life. When we speak of the heart in connection, we speak not just of physical orientation, but of symbolic alignment. Is your chest open or caved in? Are you facing someone squarely or turned halfway as if ready to escape? The body does not lie. A turned shoulder is a turned spirit. But when the heart is open and faces forward, it announces a willingness to connect, to be seen and to see in return. It is here, at the center of the triangle, that truth either radiates or recoils. When these 3 points align, when your eyes meet another's without flinching, your hands remain open and expressive, and your heart faces forward, something astonishing occurs. A bridge is formed. It is invisible, but deeply felt. The other person experiences not just your words, but your essence. They receive not a transaction, but a transmission. And it is this alignment that removes resistance, that softens suspicion, that creates the space in which love, respect, and understanding may emerge. Let us not forget, we are animals still, shaped by thousands of years of instinct. The part of the mind that determines whether we trust or fear someone does not wait for paragraphs or persuasion. It decides in an instant. A 2017 study by researchers at Princeton confirmed what sages have always known, that first impressions are formed in less than 1/10 of a second. That is not enough time to formulate the perfect sentence. It is not enough time to argue a point or justify an intention. But it is enough time to notice a glance, a gesture, a posture. The body speaks first, and if it contradicts the words are dismissed as noise. How many connections are lost? Not for lack of intelligence or kindness, but because the body betrayed uncertainty. How many potential bonds go unformed because the heart was turned slightly away, the eyes looked down, the hands were closed tight? How much of our pain stems from the isolation we reinforce, unknowingly, by the way we carry ourselves in the presence of others? To change this, we must return to awareness. We must ask ourselves, does my body point where my soul intends to go? If I say I care, do my eyes reflect it? Do my hands move with tenderness and openness? Does my posture show I am here, in this moment, with this person and nowhere else? If the answer is no, then I am not truly present. And if I am not present, I cannot connect. There is no perfection in this process, only honesty. The triangle of connection is not about performing. It is not about appearing confident or charismatic. It is about integrity. It is about choosing, moment by moment, to live without disguise. And when that choice is made, it liberates not only the one who makes it, but also the one who receives it. In this sacred alignment, we rediscover what it means to be human. We remember that beneath every mask is a face longing to be recognized, that beneath every guarded gesture is a soul yearning to be held. We are all walking miracles, desperately hoping to be seen not as ideas, not as images, but as living, breathing, feeling beings. And we can offer each other that gift, not through eloquence or performance, but through the quiet power of congruence. In a world filled with noise, the most revolutionary act is to show up fully, body and soul aligned. To let the triangle of connection guide us is to let the truth of who we are become visible. And when we do, something ancient in the other awakens and says, "Yes, this is real. This is safe. This is what I have been searching for." In the subtle language of our bodies, there exists a profound power that most of us fail to recognize or harness. It is a power woven into the very fabric of every conversation, every interaction, a power that has the ability to influence, to draw others in, or to create a space that invites introspection. This power is found not in what we say, but in how we position ourselves in relation to others. The way we manage space and direction. There is a magnetic force embedded in our ability to lean in or step back, and it speaks volumes. In the world of the few who understand the depth of this dance, this ability is not only mastered, but it is used to evoke connection and to cultivate curiosity. You see, the space between us, the invisible but undeniably felt distance, is not simply an absence, it is a presence. When we lean forward ever so slightly during a conversation, we are not just moving our bodies, we are signaling our attention, our engagement. There is a subtle power in this act. It is as though we are drawing others toward us, letting them know that we are not only listening but actively participating in the exchange. This is the magic of the magnetic lean. It is the art of moving closer, not with haste, but with intent. It is not about intrusion, but invitation. A call to engage, to share, to connect. Yet this is where many falter. Most of us, out of a deep-rooted fear of rejection or a lack of awareness, misuse this power. We either crowd others, stepping in too quickly, too soon, or we collapse into ourselves, pulling away and withdrawing when we should be leaning in. In both extremes, we lose the rhythm, the delicate balance that is required for true connection. There is a time to lean in and a time to retreat. True mastery comes when we understand this rhythm, when we know when to offer our presence and when to create the space for others to come to us. Like the ebb and flow of the tides, it is not constant, it is dynamic. Just as a breath has both an inhale and an exhale, so too does every meaningful interaction. To connect, we must lean in, but to inspire curiosity, we must also lean back. This is the dance of space. This is the magnetic force that draws people in and keeps them engaged. The master of this space understands the subtlety of distance. They know that leaning in too far too fast may cause discomfort, may even push people away, while stepping back too soon may signal disinterest or distance, when, in fact, the opposite is true. The key lies in knowing how to play with space, the ability to draw others near without overwhelming them, and to create enough distance to spark curiosity and anticipation. The magnetic lean is about rhythm, and rhythm in communication is what creates engagement, what fosters genuine connection. When we lean forward just enough, when we create that space of intimacy, we invite others to step closer, not because they are compelled to, but because they are curious. Curiosity is the most powerful force in human interaction. It drives us to explore, to understand, to connect, and when we pull back just enough, we leave room for that curiosity to flourish. We become a mystery, not an open book. This is where true influence lies. It is not in revealing everything at once, but in offering glimpses, moments that invite the other person to lean in, to engage, to seek. The space we create through our body language becomes a dynamic, emotional rhythm that allows the conversation to breathe, to move, and to flow. This is the difference between someone who speaks and someone who communicates. A speaker will deliver their words, but a communicator will engage, will create a dialogue that is not just verbal but emotional. They know how to make their presence felt in the space between words, how to use their body to influence the direction of the interaction. They have mastered the magnetic lean, not as a technique, but as a natural, unconscious expression of their understanding of human connection. In these moments, we begin to understand the dance of space, the delicate interplay between presence and absence, closeness and distance. We begin to appreciate the power of body language not as a tool of control, but as a means of fostering real, meaningful connections. We learn to lean in at the right moments, to pull back when necessary, to create space for others to come closer on their own terms. It is a power that is not about force, but about subtlety. It is a power that is not about dominance, but about balance and understanding. To master the magnetic lean is to understand the rhythm of human interaction. It is to recognize that every conversation, every relationship is an ongoing dance. It is a dance of distance, of space, of movement. In this dance, we are not just passive participants. We are the ones who set the pace. And when we learn to move with grace, to lean in when it is right and to step back when it is necessary, we begin to influence the world around us in ways we never thought possible. This is not a mere manipulation of body language. This is an invitation to something deeper, something more profound. It is an invitation to connect, to engage, and to understand. It is the art of becoming magnetic. Not through words, but through presence. To lean forward is to show interest, to draw others in. To step back is to create mystery, to foster curiosity. Together, these two forces create an emotional rhythm, a dynamic exchange that is felt far more deeply than it is ever spoken. This dance of space and direction is the key to mastering relationships, to becoming a powerful communicator. It is the foundation upon which influence is built. And as we learn to move through life with awareness of this power, we begin to realize that it is not the loudest voice that holds sway, but the one who knows how to use silence, how to use space, to speak volumes without uttering a single word. In the magnetic lean, we find not just a technique, but the essence of connection itself. There is something deeply profound in the way our bodies reveal the truths of our spirit. We often look at the world and judge it, but we forget that the world also judges us. Through the smallest movements, the quietest signals. One of the most telling of these signals is the position of our chin, a subtle yet powerful indicator of our internal state. Our chin broadcasts volumes about our confidence, our self-regard, and our place in the world. It is through this small gesture, this simple act of lifting or lowering the chin, that we declare to ourselves and others who we truly are. Think for a moment about the way we hold ourselves in the world. It is in the delicate balance between humility and pride that our true character reveals itself. When we lower our chin too much, we invite submission, retreat, and invisibility. Our heads bend, and with them our spirit retreats. We diminish our power, our potential, and our ability to face the world with open eyes. A lowered chin tells the world that we are small, that we fear, and that we do not wish to be seen. It shuts down the energy around us, creating an invisible barrier between us and others. But what about when we raise our chin too high? When we look down our noses at the world, confident in our superiority? The air we breathe becomes thick with arrogance, a fortress built to separate us from those around us. There is little room for connection in such a stance. It pushes people away, creating distance where there could have been unity. In such moments, we forget the very essence of what it means to be human, to connect, to share, to exist together in this world. A chin raised too high is not a sign of strength. It is a sign of fragility. A fear of being vulnerable, of being truly seen, forces us into isolation. It is only when we find the balance, when we lift our chin just enough to hold our head high, yet not too much to feel above others, that we discover a quiet strength. The chin, held level, communicates clarity and self-assurance. It says, "I see you and I see myself clearly." It is an invitation to the world, not a demand for attention. It opens the door to connection, to collaboration, and to trust. It is in this posture of truth that we are most powerful. This is not the power of dominance, but the power of authenticity. It is the strength that arises from being seen, fully and unapologetically, for who we are. We can see this truth reflected in the everyday moments of life. Consider two job candidates walking into an interview. One slouches with a tucked chin, avoiding eye contact, shrinking into themselves. Their body speaks louder than any words they could say. It says, "I'm unsure, I'm afraid, I'm not ready for this." The other candidate walks in with a straight spine, eyes forward, chin held at a level that says they are ready to face whatever comes their way. There is a subtle yet powerful difference in the way they carry themselves. Their presence exudes confidence, clarity, and competence. The first candidate may have the qualifications, but the second candidate has something even more valuable, the posture of truth. The way they hold themselves says, "I believe in my worth. I believe in what I can offer." It is this energy, this embodiment of self-assurance that attracts opportunities. To say the more, it is the signal that makes others say, "Yes, this is the person I want to work with. This is someone who can lead, who can inspire, who can make a difference." This is the secret of the chin of integrity, elevation and exposure. When we lift our chin, just enough, not too much, we elevate our spirit, our energy, and our presence. It is an act of vulnerability, yes, but also an act of courage. To lift our chin is to expose ourselves to the world, to say, "Here I am ready to be seen, I am ready to be heard, I am ready to claim my place in this world." It is an act of faith, not in the world, but in ourselves. It is the faith that we are worthy of being seen, worthy of standing tall, worthy of being fully present in every moment. And here is the thing, when we hold our chin high, we do not do so because we believe we are better than anyone else. No. We do it because we know that our value does not come from comparison. Our value comes from our own self-awareness, from understanding who we are and what we have to offer. When we lift our chin, we are not trying to dominate the world or make others feel small. Instead, we are inviting the world to see us as we truly are. We are inviting others to meet us at our level, to engage with us on equal footing. This simple act of raising the chin creates an energy that is magnetic. It is an energy that attracts the right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances. When we stand tall, when we hold ourselves with dignity and grace, we create a space where others can do the same. We show them, through our own actions, what it means to step into their own power. In this way, our chin becomes not just a physical gesture, but a symbol of the strength we carry within. It is a reminder that we are not meant to shrink ourselves to fit into the world's expectations. We are meant to rise, to elevate ourselves, and to expose the world to the fullness of who we are. Now I challenge you to look at yourself in the mirror. Just a small adjustment. Lift your chin 1 degree higher than usual. What do you feel? A subtle shift in your energy, a sense of alertness, a feeling of capability that wasn't there before. It's as if in that small moment you are declaring to yourself, "I am worthy, I am enough, I am ready." And in that moment, the world around you begins to change. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You begin to see connections where you once saw separation. You begin to see yourself not as a passive participant in the world, but as an active force in shaping your destiny. The chin of integrity is not just a gesture, it is a way of being. It is a declaration of self-worth, a signal to the world that you are ready to stand in your own power, to face the world with clarity, and to connect with others from a place of truth. It is the posture of one who knows their worth, who does not need to shrink to fit in, and who does not need to inflate themselves to be seen. It is the posture of one who stands in their integrity, fully exposed and fully alive. In our interactions with others, there exists an invisible thread that connects us all. It is a thread not woven by the fabric of words, but by the silent language of movement, gesture, and presence. We are constantly speaking in ways that transcend the audible. Every glance, every tilt of the head, every shift of the body, each subtle shift in posture. These are the quiet transmissions that reveal more than our words could ever hope to convey. There is an art to this, a hidden power, one that transcends mimicry and enters the realm of true resonance. This is the power of the echo gesture. The echo gesture is not simply about copying another's movements, but about attuning ourselves to their rhythm, their presence, in a way that shows them they are truly seen. It is a mirroring without mimicry, a dance between two souls, not identical in form, but in harmony with one another. When we mirror someone, we do not duplicate their exact actions, nor do we imitate their essence. Instead, we align ourselves to the same beat they are following, and in this alignment, a connection is formed that transcends the superficial. Think for a moment about the powerful and often unspoken effect that happens when two people are in sync. When two people move together, when their gestures flow like a shared rhythm, there is an unspoken communication, a deep, unconscious recognition. We are, in a sense, acknowledging each other's humanity, and in doing so, we create a bond that goes beyond words, beyond intellect. It is as though the unconscious mind recognizes itself in the movements of another. This recognition is primal. It taps into something fundamental within us. Humans are hardwired to respond to patterns, to rhythm, to harmony. From the first moments of life, we are surrounded by movement. First in our caretaker's gestures, then in the ways the world moves around us. We naturally begin to mirror the people around us, often unknowingly, and this mirroring is not just a sign of our adaptation to the world. It is an expression of a deeper connection. In moments of resonance, we feel seen, understood, and valued. It is this deep, unspoken recognition that leads to trust. A trust that is born not of words or reason, but of something far more ancient and powerful. The truth of the echo gesture lies in its authenticity. It is not an act of imitation, it is an act of attunement. It is a subtle dance, where each partner moves with the other, following their rhythm but not trying to force their movements to mirror exactly. It is not a mechanical act, but an emotional one. To echo, in this sense, is to respect the energy of the other person and to move with it rather than against it. When we move in harmony with another, we send a message that we are not only listening to them, but that we understand their unspoken language. It is a reflection of empathy, of truly seeing them for who they are in the moment. In a powerful experiment, it was found that waiters who subtly mirrored their diner's body language received 70% higher tips than those who did not. This was not because they were copying the diners, but because they were responding to the unspoken energy of the encounter. By matching the diner's body language, by attuning themselves to the diner's rhythm, the waiters created a sense of comfort, of familiarity, a resonance that encouraged a deeper connection. This was not about mimicry. It was about echoing the energy in a way that made the diner feel seen, respected, and understood. This is the essence of the echo gesture. It is a subtle yet powerful way of showing up for others. It does not require us to force ourselves into another person's mold. It simply asks us to meet them where they are, to move with them in their rhythm, to align ourselves with their energy. It is an act of presence, not perfection. We do not need to copy exactly to create connection. We need only to find the beat that resonates with theirs and move with it. In the dance of human interaction, the echo gesture holds the potential to bridge gaps, to create bonds that are not based on words or intellect, but on something much deeper: the recognition of our shared humanity. We move not as separate beings, but as interconnected individuals, each one responding to the unspoken movements of the other. In this connection, trust is built, and understanding is forged. We become attuned not only to the words, but to the soul of the other person. This gesture, subtle though it may be, holds the power to transform how we relate to others. It invites us to show up authentically, not as imitators, but as beings who are attuned to the rhythm of those around us. It is a call to move in harmony with others, to resonate with their unspoken energy, and in doing so, to create connections that are deep, meaningful, and lasting. The true power of the echo gesture lies in its simplicity. It does not demand perfection or calculation. It does not require us to be anything other than present, in tune with the movements of those around us. In this simple act of attunement, we create bonds that transcend the superficial, that go beyond the realm of words and intellect, and speak directly to the heart. This is the power of connection. This is the power of truly seeing the other person, not through our own lens, but through their own. When we echo, we create a space where both we and the other can be heard, seen, and understood. We move together in rhythm, not as separate beings, but as two souls in a shared dance. This is the silent language of connection, and it is in this connection that trust is born. These secrets are not gimmicks, they are gateways. To embody them is to return to an ancient truth, that we are not just minds speaking words, but souls speaking through movement. The 1% are not born with this awareness, they wake up to it. And now, so have you. Look around the room today, not with your eyes alone, but with your presence. Begin to watch the silent code in others, and more importantly, in yourself.